What is good, everybody? Today we are diving into some of the most obscure WWE action figures that I have in my entire collection. Alright guys, so today I wanted to take you around my room and introduce to you, if you didn't know, I'm sure some of you know, but today we're going to take you through my collection. We're going to introduce some of the most obscure or random or obscene WWE action figures, or just action figures overall, that I have in my entire collection. Should be fun. I don't know how many there are. You also notice my damn display is all awry, man. I mean, look at this over here. There's nothing in here. I have all my hooks right here. We got the Briscoes. There's just a bunch of emptiness here. This is why I've been trying to get the setup right for the room tour at the end of the year, because I know I won't be able to get everything in before the end of the year if I don't get started. So I have been trying to get the room right. That's why we had yesterday's video. If you guys missed yesterday's video, definitely go check that one out. But today, we're going to get into some of the most obscure action figures that I have in my collection. So let's get started and start things off with possibly my favorite in my entire collection. So you can't really talk about obscure unless we're talking about these guys up here, man. In the corner of the room, if you come over here, and again, if you know about the room tour or whatever, we're going to do a deep dive at the end of the year. But this little corner shelf I got when I first moved into this house, thought it was such a cool looking shelf because it has LED lights back there and everything. Got the YouTube plaque. I'll take you through it in just a moment. But this little corner shelf, one of my favorite shelves in the entire office space here. But if we come over here to the top, man, you will notice that we have General George Washington if he were to become a wrestler, basically. And this all started off as kind of an inside joke. Back with my friends from elementary school, George Washington has always just been kind of a, I don't know, some sort of like kind of figure in my friend group that just became just a funny, long-going joke pretty much. And so, you know, George Washington, it's always a thing. And so I did want to bring him in here, and it's because on 2K, what was it, like, I don't even know what 2K it was, maybe 16 or 17, I kind of created a wrestling brand of my own, which kind of inspired the Fed in a lot of ways. And when we made that, we made the Founding Fathers, and this was your stable here. We had George Washington, we had Abe Lincoln, and we had Teddy Roosevelt over here. So I decided to create them into action figures, into elite action figures, and we do have them represented here. And it looks just like, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how good some of these head sculpts look. This was originally Bret Hart, that my man BEW over there, he, a long friend of the channel, he took the Bret Hart head sculpt. I looked at the head sculpt and it looked like George Washington. And so I said, you know what, man, I think you can do this. And so we did that. We took Shawn Michaels, turned him into Abe Lincoln. And then we took, I think it was an Arn Anderson, and made a Teddy Roosevelt. But those three guys are on top of this shelf over here with these loyal subject figures, which is kind of a cool line. We got some other statues over here. I can never remember the name of these. I think these came in wrestle crates or something. Really cool Seth Rollins over there. But these are some of my favorite figures. They're just really fun little, I don't know, side quests that we made, and I like them a lot, so I have them over here in the corner. But if we come down, some other obscure figures, we do have my own action figure over here in the corner. I got the MDT jersey on, got some of my tattoos. Need to update it. It is missing some tattoos nowadays. But we do have the MDT figure here. And then we also have my wife's figure. And I took a Miss Elizabeth head sculpt and then put a Trish Stratus hairpiece on it. And for whatever reason, it looks just like her. It looks very, very similar. Kind of ridiculous, but we do have our figures over here. Got her with the MDT Live mic. She does do interviews and stuff backstage back in the day, you know. But we also have the My Damn Toys YouTube plaque right there, the 100K plaque, which was cool. But another kind of, it's not really a figure, but we do have the Alley Katniss trophy over here in gold, which is just a really cool accessory. But it's kind of a figure, sort of. Not really, but you get the point there. But that is some of the more obscure figures in my collection. If you come down from there, we do have another obscure figure, kind of. We have some Jakks figures. We have the Ring Giants, which I thought was such a cool line. I'd really like to see some sort of John Cena statue that would, like, maybe come up to here, kind of fill up this area. But we have sort of, I don't know why this is kind of turned into a room tour. We'll get into the room tour later. I'm not going to show you the whole room, but some of this stuff is just fun to talk about. Like, this is a actual ring-worn John Cena armband that I caught at an event. Snagged that at a SmackDown Live, which was cool that he actually wore, so that's why I kind of have it here in the John Cena area. And then some other obscure figures are just some different figures here. We have Luka, obviously. We have the Alabama football player, and then we do have my Hitman figure, which I really, really like. But if you want to get into some kind of like main line release stuff as far as obscure figures, not including all these little mini figures up here, this is kind of like a fan mail shelf, so any little figures or whatever that are sent in, I always put them right here because I just think they look really cool. Because you get a lot of different scales, right? You have like miniature scales up to these thumb wrestlers. You have the pops, got the custom Punisher Seth Rollins pop, which I always love. Got Randy Orton, custom Randy Orton pop. lots of really cool figures up here that I really like. But if we go down here, one of the more obscure figures that we've gotten from a wrestling wave is going to be Brody Lee Jr. I always thought this was a really cool release by Jazzwares. That pack was really, really awesome for them to do. And my daggone dude, look how dark it is up in there. It's just, these shelves are not the best, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But that figure was really awesome when they released that one. You know, we did have the draft earlier on this year. If you guys missed that video, go check out our draft that we did with him, in which he actually won. He did beat me in that draft, unfortunately. We're going to have to get a rematch. Got to get a rematch in, but him having a figure is really awesome. That 2-pack was something that was very special, so I thought that was really cool. But then we have some stuff that I have created. So we do have this right here. This is going to be the Little E figure that we made way back in the day. It used to be kind of a meme of the channel, and this figure was always really funny. So we just popped a, you know, a Big E head sculpt on there, and then we popped it on the body right there, which is a really fun figure. This figure is very underrated, very articulated and stuff like that. It's from the WLC match, I think. It came with Hornswoggle, but we have that figure. And then we also had Big Torito. We took the head sculpt from this figure and put it on a Big E basic, and that was kind of like the duality of man between those two figures there. But then we also have this kind of custom Michael Myers figure, sort of, that's like a wrestling figure. We just took the, I think it was Elite 32 Daniel Bryan jumpsuit, put it on a DDP, and then took an extra NECA Michael Myers head sculptor. It was one of the, I think it was actually a Trick or Treat or something like that got ran over or whatever and exploded, and then we kind of just put it on there. It kind of makes like a makeshift, you know, kind of indie wrestling Michael Myers type deal. So I do have him here. Just some of those. I need to get the collection of all these little meme figures and put them over here on this shelf, but I kind of run out of room there. But it's kind of what I would like to do. You know, selling cigarettes behind the gymnasium, Dean Ambrose, and these figures here would go on that shelf there. But these are definitely two obscure figures in the collection. Another kind of obscure one is some of the Fed-related ones. We do have this Braun Strowman, this monster Strowman that is tag team partners with Kane. So we do have this one here. There's been multiple versions of this, but over the years, he's kind of shifted. We put some Bobby Lashley boots on there. He's shirtless. He looks menacing. He's got this kind of Jason mask. He's got his hair coming out of the back there. That was a complete custom done right there by BEW. So I brought him the vision. He brought it to life. Very, you know, talented customizer, obviously. So we do have that Braun Strowman. That Braun Strowman is very, I don't know, just, I like some of that creative stuff, you know, stuff you're not going to see in other people's collections just because it kind of gives your collection its own deal, right? I mean, it's your own collection. It's something that you thought of or maybe you brought to life, and it makes your collection stand out above the rest. You know, everybody's got the Pete Dunne Elite 64, but who the hell has General George Washington, you know what I'm saying? Then you want to get into some Mattel mainline sort of obscure releases, or some releases that maybe you wouldn't think of, or maybe that, you know, maybe a figure that you didn't think would ever come from Mattel. You're speaking of your Rob Gronkowski's, obviously your Pat McAfee's, your Johnny Knoxville's of the world. Some of these other figures are pretty obscure, ones that you probably never would see coming. I know Boogeyman's an obscure character, but, you know, the figures like the Johnny Knoxville, the Pat McAfee, obviously deserving of a figure when they had those moments in WWE, but it's just crazy to think that we got an official action figures of some of these guys that don't necessarily come from the world of wrestling. They just stepped into it, had a cup of coffee, had some big moments, had an epic storyline, and then they step back out and they get an action figure. Pretty damn cool, you know. Same thing with like a Logan Paul, even though I know he's been champion and things of that nature. His is a little different, I think, than maybe these guys, but his, you know, his origins do not come from wrestling, so I think that's pretty unique when we get some of those figures. But, you know, we do get some pretty unique releases from Mattel themselves. One I wish we really got was Leo Rush. I have this custom Leo Rush over there, but then another crazy release that we got from Mattel is the Nicholas figure, the Build-A-Figure Nicholas from the WrestleMania 40 wave. Absurd release. I mean, it's just crazy. I remember when they showed those off at San Diego Comic-Con, I could not believe it. Another, you know, kid figure that we probably never thought we'd ever get would be Kid Dominic that we have over there, which we can showcase in just a moment. But, you know, Mattel's always kind of pushing it and kind of giving us these crazy releases. We're getting a few more just this year of some crazy releases that we're going to see. So, you know, I like that they kind of keep it fresh, you know, not just another Rock repaint. They're giving you these crazy moments of these crazy figures that nobody expects. So when we're talking about the Kid Dominic figure, we do have a couple right here, which was so cool, and I do have him between the Eddie Guerreros and the Rey Mysterios. Obviously, I have him between his dad and then the man that he hates here. So we do have Dominic Mysterio up next to our Reys and our Eddies. And then we have kind of the grown-up Dominic down here. I really would like to have the kid version up next to, you know, the older versions of Dominic, but I felt like it fit perfectly at home right here between Rey and Eddie, because obviously this match or this figure is based on the custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match from SummerSlam. So I thought that was pretty cool to have those up next to each other right there. And then we have some final ones right here, man. So some other really obscure ones. We do have Roman Reigns in some swim trunks. So we do have this smiling Roman Reigns, and he's got some shorts on, and he is barefooted. So it's kind of like hanging out at the beach, Roman Reigns. I did do an Instagram post and a short on this on the channel at some point, I do believe, where we kind of showcased how we made those. Took some Peter Maivia legs and stuck them on there, took the tattoos off. And, you know, every time I go to the beach, I always kind of do that photography where they're chilling on the beach in their different swim trunks and stuff. Always makes for a pretty cool photo op. So we do have the Roman Reigns in the swim trunks. And then if we come down here, I think it's, where is it? I don't think it's in this section. Yeah, here it is. So you come down here, and we even have a Cody Rhodes version in his little biker shorts deals, and it looks like he's been hanging out at the beach too. So I did that with Cody Rhodes. We had Roman Reigns, and then we did have Seth Rollins, who was also a part of that. But I think I took the Seth Rollins apart. I don't think I quite have that one anymore. But this is part of the setup that we did yesterday. If you guys missed that upgrade to the display, we changed up all this, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as I fixed it up yesterday, my daughter comes in here this morning and she pushes these figures back. For whatever reason, she likes to push the figures in, and I don't know why. I could not tell you why. I don't know why she does this, but every single day she comes in here and she will push them back. I will move them back in position, and then she'll just push them back in. So she didn't get to that section, I guess, but we do have a few pushed in. And every time she does it, she looks up at me and she's like, I'm pushing them in, and she smirks, and it's the cutest thing ever. I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Push them in. But, you know, you're going to push them in, just push them in. Just do it every time. So that is the joy that I get to experience there. But I think that's all of the obscure figures, or at least the most obscure. Of course, you have your Demon Finn Balor's. You have some other, like, completely custom face paints, like your Jeff Hardy figure here. You have the Demons, like we touched on before. You do have your Seth Rollins Punisher gear, whatever. But I don't really think these are obscure or crazy. I mean, George Washington is a lot more crazy or obscure rather than just a fantasy attire, you know. I think a fantasy attire belongs in its own video. But we also have, you know, the Clown Jeff Hardy, your Willow Jeff Hardy, things like that. But I think that is pretty much going to wrap up today's video, man. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what some of the obscure figures you have in your collection, or maybe you don't really have anything like that, like a George Washington or any crazy figures like that. Look at these Kevin Owens trying to fall over, man. If these fell over and then they knocked over these figures down here on this shelf, it would make me cry. These Batistas are always damn falling over. This is me every single time they fall over, dude. It happens quite often. I always get comments asking me, oh, what if an earthquake happened? What if they fail? They fall quite often, man. But at the end of the day, that is pretty much going to wrap the video, man. Hope you guys did enjoy. And again, at the end of the year, we're going to do a full room tour. We'll go through every single detail. That's why I've been trying to get everything squared away. Hopefully, we will get the rest of this stuff sorted out. Again, we upgraded this entire thing yesterday. Definitely go check that video out. But I'm getting the hell out, man. Hope you guys did enjoy. Huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. Appreciate all you fellas. Thank you guys so very much for the support as always. You guys are such a blessing. But I am getting out, man. Thank you guys for watching. Leave me your thoughts down below. What do you think of the obscure figures here? And tell me what your own obscure figures are down in your own collection, man. But I'm getting out. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at MyDamnToys. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.